Heat exchanger. I'd like to take that, but it's going the wrong way. The industrial condenser. That looks like fun. Am I planning on getting the what M-rated? The what did you say? The Almara what? You mean this? A helicopter license. Jeez, they're expensive. The industrial container is more than 60 tons here, but only 23. I think 23, it's going to struggle with this particular truck. We'll see. Actually, maybe I should have put smaller tyres on this thing as well. Let's do that. Let's change the tyres slightly. Yes, I got the Scania version, so I'm not even taking the cling film off this thing yet. Yeah, there you go. So that's the shifting pattern there. You can get different ones. And then you've got the button on the side here. It's quite nice. Splitter there, and then why does it come in this bag? Oh, that's the skirt. There you go. So it actually has a little skirt on it as well. So you've got your range down the bottom there. There's your range, you see. High and low. And then your splitter is on the side where the thumb is. And then you've got your layout on the top. So you pick whichever one you want, because they have different truck layouts and slightly different. They try to mimic what the manufacturer does, basically. Just wrap it back up. So yeah, I'm going to hook that up to the TH8 and make a video on it. And we'll see how it performs. I'll put it next to this CSIO one as well. Talk about the differences. Not that you can buy these anyway. It feels like it's pretty well built though. I mean, certainly, you know, a couple of my mods have got them and they say that they're pretty good. They've been solid so far. Because this CSIO one, like, suffered from switching problems. They use fairly cheap switches in them, I think. The main difference is you actually get one. No, the main difference is they actually deliver one. Let's see, 31570. Let's go with the 31570. That'll do. Let's try that. Maybe it'll handle a bit better as well. Take job.
Happy anniversary.
No, Killan. I'm not really a classic motor car fan, if I'm honest with you. I like modern cars. Like, I would rather go to a show about electrics and hybrids and racing vehicles than I would about classics. Algafar, 25 months, missed the Halloween bake-off. Gotta wait for Christmas now. You can watch it on SquirrelPlus. Mr. Purple Haze, thank you for 43 months. Andy Mine, Squirrel's cheating for the 948120385 time. Baby rage. Yeah, Cool Tiger, I told them about that. And they said, oh, just press translate in Google. It was my way of saying to them, you really need to get an English page. Aventador V12. Yeah. I wouldn't have the money to run that, yet alone own one. Let's find out if this thing actually... Actually, you know what? I think I'm still on... simplistic. Let's see if it works on this thing. I'd send it off for the Maz if you remember. Hey, it works. Worked a treat. It's the point of fast road cars, Tommy. So you can accelerate off the lights. Take it to the autobahn, Tommy. Whoa. That rear skirt is almost on the floor, look at that. When am I getting it? I've already got it, Arrow. I've just not unboxed it and looked at it yet. How long is this stream been on for? Top of the screen next to the up arrow. That's your uptime. Well, Tommy, if you want to go faster than 130 Ks... wait a minute, what? No, it's not. What are you talking about? And in any event, if you want to go faster, just go down to a racetrack and for a track day. There's no point driving faster. Sounds like you don't like speed. Yeah, from what I know, dude. I know. I tried to tell them. Considering it's only got, what, 300 and something horsepower, it's doing quite well. Yeah, but Shoot Bandits, that's a motorbike, that's different. Throne, what if you live in the States and you want one?
Welcome back, madam.
PC Tech has gifted a sub to Shoot Bandits, Walkaback Bandits. Thank you very much, PC Tech. Langeveld, how you doing? What's the point of going that fast? Zafir, there's no way for explaining to somebody who clearly doesn't like going fast. Like either you're a fan of speed or you're not. It's that simple, isn't it? Either you like being accelerated and going fast or you don't. And if you don't, you're never going to explain it to somebody. There's no point having the conversation with somebody that quite honestly doesn't understand why you would want to go fast. Exactly. I mean, I've had friends who a car to them is A to B. Like, quite literally A to B. They do not care what it looks like. They just want it to do its thing. They stick it in for a service and it just does its thing. It's A to B. They have no passion for cars whatsoever. And whilst I don't really, you know, I'm not on that same page, I can understand why they are like that. Because I'll be honest, I'm pretty much the same when it comes to shoes, yeah? I buy shoes, they go on my feet, as long as they look okay, I'm good with that. Comfortable, I'm fine. Whereas I know plenty of people, you know, my daughters included, who will go in shoe shops and buy like 50 or 100 pairs of shoes, and then still go and buy some more because they can't find ones that match the thing they're wearing. And I don't get that. Like, I don't need more than about 3 or 4 pairs of shoes, really. Like, so I don't really understand anybody that has a wardrobe full of them. But everybody's different. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different passions and interests and likes and dislikes. So each to their own. It's their money. Spend it on shoes. Spend it on cars. You know, I've spent money on cars. I've wasted thousands on cars over the years. Thousands. I don't regret it. But if you sat me down and just went, you know, logically this makes no sense. Like buying these cars over the years makes no sense. You should have just bought one of these and kept it for 10 years. Like, I can't argue with the sensibility of that. But passion and logic don't always go in the same direction. Some people have a car passion, some people have a shoe passion. And that's the end of that. Fun. 1 second. Good evening, Paul. I've been away in London for a few days, so I've not been around to watch Stoneworks live. May watch the VOD. Hope you and the family are well. Thank you, Fun. Welcome back. Thank you for the bits. Man's 2034. Thank you very much for the bits. You didn't catch me though. You collect watches? Yeah, I mean, I've got friends that collect all kinds of things. Look at Pringle, right? Pringle collects DVDs. I think he's got something like 2,500 DVDs. Me, I tried to get rid of all my DVDs many years ago, but he collects them. So what? I am on low fuel. You are right about that. I should have pulled in somewhere, shouldn't I? Collects bad jokes. I'll tell him you said that, Bigfoot. You may get a new car in summer next year, plug-in hybrid. What, you mean like a Lexus, Whiteland? Well, I don't know, Whiteland. I don't feel the technology's quite there yet, you know? Like these plug-in hybrids, they can run about, what? They say, well, whatever, 35 miles, but realistically that's probably 25, and in your winter, that's going to get destroyed on heating. So I don't know how much use you'll get. Depends what your journey is every day. From, I know all the manufacturers have got a lot of models coming out next year. I don't know if Lexus have a plug-in hybrid coming out. I didn't look. I think Volvo have one. What's the speed limit? $50k plus on the new test methods, enough to bring me to work, to and from work. Yeah, so I didn't know what your journey was. Just don't take whatever the manufacturers say is what you're going to get. Please tell me this is auto. Oh, you scumbag. Come on. It's closed. Lexus has plugins. There you go. So which one are you thinking of, Whiteland? You've got a C-Max hybrid. Oh yeah, well the future is no doubt electric. There's nobody's questioning that. Well, some people would. It's how you generate the electricity and how much storage you have. That's the real issue. No, hydrogen's got a lot of problems, gents. There's a really interesting video about electric versus hydrogen on YouTube. And, you know, the problem with hydrogen is the cost to manufacture it. Even when you manufacture it on site. So you go to a pump and they manufacture the hydrogen on site and store it in local tanks. The actual cost to make it is pretty bad. And in terms of its, like, the amount of energy it releases for the space it needs to store, it's really bad as well. So that's another one where technology needs to move on for it to become effective. Apostan, you can't say that. You can't come out with a statement like that. Electric is worse for the environment than diesel. Electricity is electricity. Yeah? I think what you mean is how you manufacture it. That's the problem. How do you make electricity? You can't just say electricity is worse than diesel. Yeah, well, you know, climate change is already happening, isn't it? I don't know, Hibbs. I don't know if that's true. What do you mean fusion, Wyland? So you mean using nuclear fusion to generate electricity? Is that what you mean? It's a pity, like, I remember years ago they were talking about, you know, solar panels and how inefficient they are, really. And I seem to remember reading about some new technology called black carbon, I think it was called, that was supposed to make these solar panels 5 times more efficient. But I've not seen anything since. I think it was called black carbon. Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Graphene. No, I don't think it was graphene. In any event, they were talking about these solar panels in a few years' time that would be like 5 times more efficient than current ones. NVR, too late to learn. Thank you very much for 500 bits, NVR. Appreciate the support, sir. Thank you. Well, it strikes me that, like, if a lot of homes had solar panels and the solar panels were pretty efficient, there's a lot of free energy just coming in from the sun that's going to waste, right? And if you can tap that energy, then you don't need it from somewhere else. So it doesn't need to be made by a fusion power plant when it can just be taken for free. Yeah, I really need to sort out my fuel situation. Yeah. Let me just see on the map how far it is to a fuel station.
Happy anniversary, Nutter.
Here. As long as I get there, we're fine. BC, thank you for 18 months. Welcome back. How many toll booths have we got along here? I know, right? It's just like you can't adjust the wheel and the dial is exactly in the right position for you not to be able to see it. It's really annoying. Oraxi, thank you for your support, sir. Welcome to the house. Can we give Oraxi a nutty welcome? No people panels that get paid from the grid and zero electric bill. Yeah. I agree, Papa Reagan. If you get like a Tesla wall battery and some panels, you can really make it work for you. I'm not bad, thank you, Jebgon. This is some strange route we're taking here. I was reading something the other day about how it's quite funny, this one, because I don't know what it's like in other countries, but in the UK, I think the tax on fuel, like gasoline or petrol and diesel, tax on fuel is about 70% or something. Like 70% of the cost that you pay is tax. It's ridiculous. And every time they increase it, it's because of emissions, obviously. They want to do the environment good. So along comes this prospect of electric vehicles that don't need fuel, right? And I think they're talking about banning the production of petrol, or the sale of petrol and diesel vehicles. 2032 now is the current thing they're talking about, bringing it forward from 2040. And there was this study was done that said that if that goes into action, then the UK government stands to lose £160 billion between now and 2032, right? Because it's all very well saying that we're going to get rid of diesel and petrol, but the government takes an awful lot of money from the sale of diesel and petrol. And so they're going to have to find a way, when we're all going around in electric cars, they're going to have to find a way of recouping that very large amount of money. And so the thought is they're going to have to do things like somehow figure out how to tax when you charge your car. So they can't just stick 70% tax on electricity going into your home because you need it, yeah? So can they figure out a way of taxing it when you use electricity to charge your car when you're at home? But how are they going to police that? Or What if they charge you when you drive per mile, in which case they would need some kind of tracking system on your car. So they would have to mandate a tracking system in your car that then tallies up how far you drive and then charges you per mile, which sounds like a Big Brother type thing. So there's all kinds of issues with switching over from fossil fuels to electric cars, not least of which government coffers. It's going to be interesting to see how they do it. Insert coin to drive. It's going to be something like that. Maybe they'll, maybe you've got to, like, I don't know, use your phone in your car and then it'll track your phone. Fuel status is bad, Whiteland. And I'm not sure if we've missed a fuel station. Yeah, we're coming up on it. Can you see the truck? Yeah. Hargreaves, I have no idea, bro. I seriously doubt it, though. Got track hour for a week and you love it, Rowan. I'm not surprised. Mr. Larry B, keep up the good work. Thank you for 62 months, Larry. It's a long time, bro. Over 5 years. Thank you. Coming in for fuel here. Pause a sec, my chat's frozen. Six, 2 months is too difficult to divide into years.
Oh, yeah.
Long live the bicycle. Cut that a bit fine, didn't we? Don't think we've got much fuel left. Look at that. That thing is already below the red line. We're running on reserves. This guy's tooting me for actually refueling. Can you believe this? Does this car, like, the truck realise that there's actually another pump there? Yeah, it's a small tank on this thing, and you can't change it. How's an Ashkur going to cope with 38 billion cars in the UK? Well, that's the other problem. I think even in the States, their electric grid is overloaded. They get brownouts. So if you start lumping in cars on there, yeah, that's going to get interesting real fast. Yep. I don't know Bigfooty. The hydrogen thing has to, the technology has to move quickly for that to work. Hands a hit. Thank you for 32 months. Well, Zephyr, that's just a straight up difference of opinion, isn't it? 85 pence a litre in Australia. It's more like £1.35 here. Wasn't Elon Musk? I saw a tweet from Elon Musk. He was it today? Actually, I saw the tweet, and he tweeted a picture of going down that tunnel. You know that big tunnel he's digging under LA. There was like a gif of like a train rail just dragging all the way through this LA tunnel. Current charging patterns are great, can take 70% EV usage. You felt that your BMW 3 Series, €75 for 50 litres. Wait. Your BMW 3 only has a 50 litre tank? That sounds small. Electric Freddy, don't argue with it, roll. You're convinced that Elon Musk is a Bond villain? Nah, he's like the closest thing we have to Stark. He really is. Owen Gamer, welcome back, sir. I will say, I don't think the lights on this thing are very bright, but then it's probably how it was back in the day. I love that name, The Boring Company. It's a good name, that. Yormonger, he accused the British diver that rescued, remember those were they Taiwanese or Thai kids that got trapped in a cave, and it was a British diver that went down there and rescued them, and he accused him, which was just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. That was definitely a blot on his copybook for me. Because they'd gone caving, I think, and then because it was just approaching the monsoon season, the water came up, and then it went over and went down into the cave and like flooded sections of the cave, and they were then trapped. Accused him of what? He accused the diver, I think he accused him of being a paedophile, if I remember. I don't know where he got the idea from. I think the guy was suing him. I'm not sure. Yeah, he repeatedly accused him, I think, on Twitter as well. It's just unbelievable. Not bad, Floho. He accused them of that after the diver said that Elon Musk's idea of getting the kids out wasn't going to work. Simplistically, like, looking at that situation, you've got these kids trapped in a cave, right? And you've got this, like, super experienced diver, and then you've got Elon Musk. And Elon Musk has got an idea about how to get them out, and the super experienced diver's got an idea. Which one would you roll with? I don't think it's Elon Musk's skill set, is it? You might have ideas about how you would do it, but I would pretty much take the experienced diver over Elon Musk at that point. It's because the diver said the machine Musk made was rubbish. There you go. I mean, whatever, it's still not grounds for an accusation like that, is it? At all. just because the guy said that Elon Musk's machine is rubbish, that doesn't give Elon Musk the right to do that. Every time I watch, like, Elon Musk in a video, though, he seems to, when he's talking, he's like, it's just like constantly stuttering and pausing and going, like he doesn't know what he wants to say. It's so weird. Like, he doesn't articulate himself very well. Which is very odd, because, like, he has a PA that organises his time in 5-minute slots. So how can you have a guy who works 18 hours a day, and his time is allocated in 5-minute chunks? That's how valuable his time is. And if you do get 5 minutes with him, he probably spends 2 minutes of that umming and ahhing. Like, who we're talking about? Elon Musk? Entrepreneur, extraordinaire, SpaceX guy, digger of tunnels under LA. What's our ETA on this thing? Friday, 7 AM. Zagreb, we're going round the south side of Zagreb. That's where we are. Does that PA also determine when he goes to the toilet? I don't know, Bigfooty. I've often wondered how it works. I presume they've got a system where, you know, somebody will get like 10 minutes with him, and then somebody else might get 40 minutes with him, and then he'll have like a 5 or a 10-minute break. I assume this PA knows what to do in terms of allocating him break time. I can't imagine living a life like that, though. Living a life of 18 hours a day of work with you know, your time so, like, allocated. It's like completely out of your control. He's always low on sleep. Well, yeah, because he works 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. He can't. No, he's not. He's not, Hargreaves. That's the thing. He's not money driven. Like, he really isn't. Money to him is just a tool. He's more interested in, like, in his visions. I haven't tried the Tesla truck, but it's enabled. Yeah, if it's the mod I think you're referring to, Eric, I don't think it's that good. Well, you think, like, most people are used to an 8-hour working day. He just 18. So that's like the normal person doing double shift, except he then works the weekends and then works hours on top. It's absolutely crazy. I do wonder how long he can keep something like that up before it really affects his health. He wouldn't care if nobody bought the truck. I didn't read that, Beacon. No. I think he's heading for a burnout. That's not sustainable. I mean, does he When has he ever gone on holiday? Does he ever take a holiday? Does he ever have a weekend off? Does he wake up one morning and just go, you know what? I'm gonna have today off. I'm the boss, I can do what I like. Does that ever happen? I don't think he sees it as work, Vib. I think that's the thing. To him, he's not working. He's just doing what he wants to do, I guess. That's the only way he can get through it. Maybe he's a secret in alien and the schedule is okay. Well, like Men in Black type thing. He like pulls a mask off and he's like some cockroach underneath. You never see him doing like really fun things, do you? You never see him go down to Disneyland and just jump on a roller coaster like normal people. Just, I want to have some fun. You know, I want to take a jet ski and just go out. You never see him do anything like that. Two 24-hour shifts, I mean, that's not fun. Chris Evans bangs out 2.5 hours a day with only 13 weeks per year holiday. Just dark times, that is. You wonder what he has for breakfast? I don't know. Doesn't he like... I can't remember if he's the one that likes Big Macs and things like that. Or Wimpy's. Something like a hamburger. I seem to remember reading about that once. Maybe sending rockets to space is fun enough. Oh yeah. I can only imagine, like when he saw the SpaceX testing, when the rockets took off and then the two of them landed, synchronized. Even I, watching that, like the hairs on the back of my neck were standing up. So who knows what it was like for him to actually see that come to life. It must have been just amazing. In an interview with the New York Times, he revealed he logs 120-hour work weeks and doesn't have a Tesla factory for days at a time. What does he do there? I watched a YouTube video where this American company, that what they do is they disassemble vehicles bit by bit and then analyze it. And they took apart a Tesla. I forget which model it was now. They took apart a Tesla piece by piece. And when they did so, they looked at it, and they've done it with other vehicles as well, other electric vehicles as well. And they said that there was a lot. Was it Model 3? They said that there was a lot of the design of the Tesla was quite clever. There were solutions to the problems, particularly around electric motors. The solutions were actually very good. But the main criticism was that the chassis, I think it was, the chassis had been inefficiently put together. There was clearly what Tesla's not good at compared to a lot of the car manufacturers is how to design something that can then be manufactured in an efficient and cheap way. That's the bit where they're still learning. And so, you know, he was pointing out all these different aspects on the vehicle, saying, well, if you look here, like the way they've done this just makes it really hard to manufacture efficiently and cheaply. But they had some really good solutions around their electric motors and that kind of thing. But this is the problem, like, they were kind of first out the door with the whole electric car thing and really pushed it hard, and they've got a lot of good design ideas, but what they're really bad at is building them, like mass production. They don't know how to do that. Whereas you've got all these other car manufacturers who've nailed mass production, and they're playing catch up on like the electric design. So it's quite clever to see like which one's going to win out. Well, this is it, like, if you design something, like, and it works well, that's great, but then when you come to mass produce it, suddenly your design is not good, because it makes it difficult to produce en masse. So then you have to change the design, and that happens quite a lot. The winner would be Kia or Jaguar. I think it'd be interesting, like, you know, all the German manufacturers are catching up on the whole hybrid electric thing now. They've got a lot of stuff coming in 2019. After driving one of the Volvo electrics, I think You've what? On the Teslas? Yeah, Volvo's already made a commitment to ditch diesel. BMW will sell 140,000 pure electric EVs in 2018. What, is that what their target, or is that a confirmed goal? Because I think they're changing the i3 for next year, BMW. Because the current i3 is either all electric or it has this, what do they call it? Extended range engine or something. Which is basically like a lawnmower engine to top up the battery if you run out. I think they're changing it in 2019. What I don't like about the i3 is just the design of it. Range extender, that's it. The design of the i3 is just awful. It's just absolutely awful to look at. Like, I look at a car and I think to myself, could I see that on my driveway? And the answer with the i3 is no way. No way would I park that on my drive. Like, a Nissan Leaf looks way better than a BMW i3, just in look terms. Oh, the i8. I mean, that's the weird thing. The i8 is completely different. The i8 looks ridiculous. It's like something out of the future. Like, it's like a Buck Rogers car. The i8. So why does the i3 just look like, I don't know, just designed by kids with bits of Lego? It's just bizarre. It's built from recycled parts. It actually looks like... what was that show I used to watch years ago? Scrap Heap Challenge. It actually looks like the BMW engineers went down to the scrap heap and found pieces of car and built the i3 from it and went, there you go. That's what it's going to look like. Using all these bits that we found in the scrap heap.